Now that we have our installations sorted, we should not be getting any more issues inside the workflow. As you can see, the workflow looks complicated, but it's broken down into different segments. And we typically will look at it from left to right. That's how the workflow will happen. So the very first set of nodes are the LLM loaders. Let's zoom in. If you see, there are two LLM loaders. One is a local loader, which will load directly inside ComfyUI, and another one is a LM Studio loader. So we need to run LM Studio in the background. That will load up the server, and this will talk to that. Now, this node currently is not working with the GPU, it's only on CPU, so we'll skip this for now, and we will only focus on the LM Studio workflow. So let's jump onto LM Studio. I already have this model loaded, so let me unload that. All we need to do is select your model out here. So that's there, whichever model you want. In settings, make sure course is enabled, leave the port and the IP address as it is. So we select that, it gets loaded. There are a couple of settings here. So one is context length, and this will directly be proportionate to how much VRAM you have. So if for my system, it's a 12 gig GPU, 3060, I can only use till here. Beyond this impacts my VRAM. So I'll just quickly show you. It's like this. Gives me, it will still work, it will run slower. So I prefer it doing below that, and most of the nodes, most of the AI agent nodes will not typically go beyond this. It should be fine. That's one. And then there is a seed number. So I like to work on a fixed seed number so that I can reproduce what's happening. Let's say for now we will set it to 1, 2, 3, 5. And that's about it. You hit load. There are other settings also, but you just play around with it, figure those out. We'll hit load, and it will take some time and it will get loaded. And that's it. Now the speed of this will obviously depend on your SSD, overall system config and all of that, but it should not take too much of time to load this. So that's about it. The model is loaded, the server is up, and we can now jump into the main bits of the workflow. Now that LM Studio has been loaded with the LLM and ComfyUI is running, let's jump into the workflow. So if you see, the workflow goes into different blocks of work. So like the very first block is the loader, then we have the story and the screenplay, short breakdown, so on and so forth. So, and above them we have those uh, red loaders sort of. So this is like the major project directory setup. Once we set this up, everything else in the workflow will take those names, write the right files at the right folders, pick up those right files. So that's your file naming and file folder naming part of it. For now, let's name it as test project. Test 001 should be okay. And this will output, everything will get outputted in your output folder. And these are my outputs of the output folder. It will create an Akki LLM folder, which I already have, but inside this, I don't have any other folders. I have an old folder. I don't have this test folder. It will start making that as we jump into the folders. Okay, let's look into the first set of nodes. And it might look too complicated. There are lots going on here, but it's quite simple. It is essentially a group of intelligent agents which talks to the LLM and does a bit of the work. So this is one agent, the very first agent, the white one is the story writer agent. So it will take your inputs, which are defined here, and create the story. The next agent will create a sort of a Bibles for the characters and the scene, plus other smaller tasks. Similarly, this guy will take all of that input, will create a beat sheet. You have the previous run example out here. And then the final node for this set of nodes will create the screenplay. And yeah, that's about it. But if you see overall, there are color codings here, so you do not necessarily need to touch each and everything. All you need to do is tweak the white nodes. So this white node, for example, the top one is a seed, and this one is our main node, story input nodes, where you are setting up what do you want out of the story to be. You essentially need to just run this last purple node. You will need to right click on it and then just hit Q selected node. and that will render everything out and you'll get all the necessary outputs from this set of nodes. Similar structure is for all of these nodes. We will look at it once we go into those things. So let's look into some of the parameters out here. These are very self-explanatory things. You have the names, age type, basic of the story, location, period, and these are primarily drop downs which are text files, so you can edit them, you can tweak them as much as you want to. For now, we will just stick to these ones and we will just hit a run and see what happens. Before I hit run, there are already my previous outputs, and just to have a clean run, I will just refresh all of them so that we have a clean slate to start off with. There we go. And that's all set. And I will hit run on this one. And the process has started, as you see. So it's already chatting with the LLM. All the prompts are getting sent and received, and a lot of operations are happening node by node. Currently, this node is getting processed, and very soon you will see a folder getting created out here with the output file of this node, which will be the main story node. And eventually, we'll get the script crafters output and everything else. So let's wait and watch. And as you can see, it has created all of these files. Let's start looking at them. You can also have the preview out here. Uh, yep, like these things. So yeah, so every node will have its own preview, but let's look at the main files. It's easier to read out there. So starting off with the story, there you go. A short story about the people we have mentioned there with their roles, the backstory and everything. And that's your main story. Let's look at the next file, which is the Bible. So one is the character Bible out here. So you see they will have the names, the roles, age, goal, motivation, flaw, the story arc itself, bit of description. So this will be the foundation for developing the characters later on and doing look dev and all of that. So there you go. The story has also introduced more characters according to what it needed. So all of that is captured here, as you see, supporting character. So yep, let's look at the World Bible. This will be an overall, like the genre and period and tone. Again, will help once we fine tune into a short development process. The fourth document it should create is a beat sheet. So it is like this. It will break the entire story into beats when the act two starts, B story, and stuff like those. So it's very interesting. Have a look. And yeah, act three like this. The final bit, which is most important for us because that will be the foundation for the future nodes, is the screenplay. So now we have a screenplay which deals with the scenes properly named, and you have voice acting and everything, including the dialogues, everything mentioned here. So that's your screenplay. And that's about it for this series of nodes. Next, we go into the short breakdown. Now that we have the first 5 files ready out here, ending with the screenplay, we move on to the next bit of it, which is the short breakdown CSV. This will create a CSV report, which is like a production management report, and it will have all details of everything that's going on in the scene, including breakdowns of characters, assets, props, director note, camera details. You see some of the outputs it's doing. In fact, the CSV will have even more than all of these performance notes, character lists. Yeah, we'll have a look. So again, 3 important nodes out here. These are the AI agents. One is a cinematographer. Another one does the QC. And the last one is a parser because the output from LLMs are not deterministic. So we need to do a lot of Python operations just to have a clean, uh, formatable output which can be reused, repurposed, and every project should give the similar kind of output. So this is what the 3 nodes are doing. Uh, as I mentioned before, we need to only touch typically the white nodes, and the output should be from the purple node. So as you see here, there's nothing to manually tweak or touch out here except for the seed, and the rest of it should be just automated altogether. Before we go here, again on the top we have the red nodes where we need to load the files up. So we don't need the entire path, we just need from the output folder onwards, that relative path out there. So I have already set it up here as per the file names and everything. You need to do the same in your shows, and that's pretty much it. Once it's done, it will set those as variables, and those variables will be reused everywhere else once we have loaded them up. So yeah, without further ado, let's hit this. This will again take some time, and you'll start seeing from the screenplay file onwards, we'll start seeing the other files. There will be two temporary files which will need cleanup, and the final will be the CSV file. So let's run it and let's see. Oh, I had the cache already, so it generated very quickly. Let me delete this guy and remove the cache once more, and let's run it once more. There we go. Now that this is done, you can see it has created a bit more files out here, out of which the only file which matters to us is the CSV. That will be again the foundation for the notes in future. So let's look at the CSV. As you see, it's broken it down into shot by shot with proper shot numbers, shot type, shot framing, a lot of details, a lot of important details to make the entire shot successful. So description, movement and angle, characters, VFX, sound design cue, performance notes, dialogues, per character costumes, per character props, and then set dressing and all of that. So yeah, this basically helps the later stages to get a clear direction on what needs to be done, how the framing needs to be done, for example, out here, and yeah, stuff like that. So now that this is done, we can move on to the next set of nodes, the look dev nodes. So as you can see, the look dev files are created by the AI agent out here. I will now offload the LLM so that we save some VRAM for the image generation part. And we will again check back once this process is done. And there we have it. It has produced all the characters in the lineup. Let's have a quick look. That's how they look like. And the prompts, associated prompts, it's all here in the output folder now. And we can look at one of the prompts. It's quite detailed, and it will be also on neutral background so that we can easily mat it and yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. It will create individual prompts for each and every character and include details from story, figure out what are common elements, what are short specific elements, exclude those short specific elements so that in the short level we can include those and do a lot of those kind of parsing. There you go. And now we will do exactly the same thing in the set look def. Let's just fast forward this entire section and we'll get back to see how's the output looking. And there we have it. The main look def for all the scenes are made. And as you can see, let's have a look first. So those are the lineups and these are the individual sets. So, and then the characters which we had done before. And with all of this, all of this will help us to make the short development later on. We could use these images and the final prompts to generate the final shots itself, whether we use style transfer or use it as a subject like in van, or we can figure that bit out later. But these will be your foundation materials for short production. And if we look also at the prompts, it's quite detailed, as you can see. And it is based on the story. It includes everything which is important as per the script, the shot breakdown, the CSV, asset breakdown. So it will yeah include all of those details too. So we are in a good state now. Now I think we can move on to the next stage, which will be the short prompt. Now this bit of the pipeline will create the shots depending on the uh, details as per the CSV, the screenplay, the shot breakdown, and also according to the look dev templates we have created, so that the prompt itself entails a lot of those details. Nothing much to be done here, as you can see. Again, back to the seed number here, and these will generate whatever in between files it requires. So all we need to do is right click on this and hit Q, and the process has started. In some time, we'll get to see a shots folder getting created, and all of those details, the prompts themselves, will come there. Let's wait and watch. And we have the shots output now. Let's have a quick look. There we go. We have the 42 shots. I think that's the same amount we had in our CSV. Yes, shot count was 42. So those are the 42 shots output. Every shot will have its detailed thing. So it has composition and framing part. It has the character details out here, which will be based off on look dev. And again, the scene details, the background set details, which will be also based off on the look dev. So like this, we'll have the detailed prompt getting created. So we are already in a good stage where we can take this prompt and take the images and use it to create our final shots. We'll see that in the next phase now. Now we are looking at the last part of the pipeline. This is still work in progress and more development needs to be done in this. Right now we have got it working for single frame. The idea is with those single frames, we'll feed it into another set of pipelines, which will also use the look dev images with the single frames and create the final frames for the shot renders. Let's have a quick look at what we are doing out here. We still have the loader out here, which are the van loaders. Right now I'm going to use van, and this variant of the van is the base with Fusion X in it. So it's quite fast and it's quite nice as an output. Let's look inside it. So this part is dealing with the short loader. So each and every short prompt is going to get loaded and going to get processed one by one. Right now in the example, I've set it for 3, and let's have a quick look on how that works. Again, we don't need to touch anything out here. We just go on to the last node. I have to still color code all of them, but yeah, this will be the node which is the important node for us. We just run it. And we have the single frames of all our shots, at least 3 of our shots. Let's quickly have a look. And it's got all the inputs from the characters and the set and directorial notes. Everything should be there, all compiled together, and it seems to work brilliantly. So now I will fix this so that we don't just do 3 shots, we do the entire thing. So I will just do this bit, clear the cache again, just to be sure. Reset this node once more, just to make sure nothing else is influencing, and we will run this entire chain. Where is our output? Okay, I will have to double check the output also because it's not coming here. There's some path issue which I'll fix, and we'll get back and we will run the entire thing. And we are back. I have also color coded them, fixed the directory issue. Now everything should be working nicely. And let's just run and see what it produces. And there we have it, all the shots rendered. Let's quickly look at some of them. So you get a basic feel of how it's going to turn out here. There's still a lot of work left to fine tune this, getting the sets more close to our look dev and the characters matching it. But that's a good start. There we go.